Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the All Beneficent, the All Merciful. Tehzeebul Islam by Allama Muhammad Baqir Majlisi. Chapter 1, Etiquette of Dressing and Wearing Shoes. First, elegant and proper clothing. A person should clothe himself neatly and decently according to his position in life, provided what he wears has been acquired through legitimate, that is halal means. And if he cannot clothe himself properly through legitimate means, then he should try to be decent within his limits as accorded in most of the reliable traditions of Islam. However, acquisition of a variety of dresses should not be exceeded to an extent as to tempt one during his prayers. If God has bestowed one with suitable income or increased it, then one should eat, clothe, and spend accordingly, keeping in view one's fellow brothers. And in case one's income is meager, one should adjust and keep away from non legitimate, that is, haram means of earning. It is an acknowledged fact that Imam Ali Raza, peace be upon him, used to sit on a mat woven with date leaves during summer and on coarse jute cloth in winter. But when he ventured outside his home, he was elegantly dressed from head to foot to show the world the blessings of Almighty. It is narrated from Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, peace be upon him, that decency and cleanliness in one's outfit are highly endearing to God, and those who practice otherwise displease Almighty. He likes his creatures to be properly dressed and perfumed, and to keep their houses spick and span, and light them before sunset, so that poverty should disappear and their sources be increased. A historical incident reflecting the attitude of the chosen one of God, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, peace be upon him, is thus narrated. One of the leaders of the ascetic Sufi school of thought tried to belittle and tease the Imam before the whole congregation while he was seated in Masjid al-Haram, elegantly attired. He approached the Imam and questioned him why he was so decently attired when the Holy Prophet and other ancestors of the Imam never were. The Imam recited the following words from the Holy Book. Say, O Messenger Muhammad, who has provided the adornment granted of Allah, which He hath brought forth for His servants, and the good things of the provisions? And elaborated that in the days of Prophet there were poverty, while at present there was economic prosperity, and as such, pious people had a better right of spending to display the generosity of God. Further revealing the clothes he was wearing underneath, he said that the outward attire is just for the view of the world, but underneath he was coarsely dressed for the sake of his soul. Second, materials which are not permitted to be worn. Men are not permitted to use pure silk and brocade, and are asked to be careful that their headgear and all those clothings which do not cover the private parts should not be made of silk. Even certain accessories of clothing like borders, frills, etc., should only be made of artificial silk, cotton, or any cloth, where silk is 1/10 of the other yarn used in the material. Cloth made of any yarn except silk is preferable. Non essential parts of clothing like handkerchief, shawl, etc., can be made of silk. It is better for children who have not come of age to be stopped from wearing pure silk and gold, as according to the tradition of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his pure progeny, and as narrated by Hazrat Ali, peace be upon him. The Prophet had asked Imam Ali, peace be upon him, not to wear a golden ring and silk, as he would be dressed in silk in paradise and decorated with gold. Though Ali, peace be upon him, never used to wear these, but it was an indirect address to the people. Some people had asked Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, peace be upon him, whether they could dress their children in gold. The Imam ordered them to refrain from using gold themselves and dressing their children, those who have not come of age, in gold. Only their women and female slaves could use it. Third, instructions about cotton wool and artificial silk. It is narrated by Amirul Mu'mineen Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, that cotton and woolen cloth should be used, as the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his pure progeny and the Ahlul Bayt wore them. The Holy Prophet used woolen cloth when required. There is a tradition related with Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, peace be upon him, from Hussein ibn Kathir, who saw Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq wearing a woolen cloth over coarse cloth. After praising the Imam, he asked why he wore the woolen over coarse, as he thought that the woolen to be abominable, that is makruh. The Imam replied that his ancestor Imam Ali Zain al-Abidin, peace be upon him, used to wear coarse cloth while praying, and therefore the Ahlul Bayt did likewise. Fourth, colors of the dress which are sunnat or makruh. It is related from Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his pure progeny, that white color is the best and suited to men, who should also be provided with a white winding sheet. Fifth, tradition. According to a tradition from Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, peace be upon him, he saw Imam Ali, peace be upon him, buying 3 clothes for a gold coin. The shirt measured till the ankle, the tahmad measured from the waist down to the knee, and the shawl not only covered his chest but was much longer than his back. After having bought these clothes, Imam Ali, peace be upon him, looked at the sky, thanked God, and returned to the lodging. According to Imam Musa Kazim, peace be upon him, God ordered the Prophet to keep his clothes clean, and it meant that the clothes should not be so long as to gather dirt and must be free from impurities. As related by Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, peace be upon him, the Holy Prophet advised a person not to have his shirt and pajama too long, as it is a sign of pride, and God does not allow proud to come near. Sixth, about the clothes which are particularly used by women and non-Muslims. Men are prohibited from wearing women's face covering sheet, that is makna, veil, bodice, and burqa, etc. And women should not wear men's clothes such as cap, cloak, cassock, that is kaba, etc. Both men and women are prohibited from adopting the particular headgears by which the Jews, Nusayris, and other non-Muslims are identified. According to Imam Baqir, peace be upon him, men should not use makeup like women, and women should not make up themselves like men, as the Holy Prophet had cursed such men and women. It is stated in Fiqh Raza that one should wear the pajama while sitting and recite the following prayer. I begin in the name of Allah. O Allah, draw a veil over my nudity, and let me not be insulted on the day of judgment. Shower me with chastity, and separate not me from my faith. People who do not practice this are faced with disease and death. According to a tradition, all the prophets and even Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, used to put on the shirt before wearing the pajama. Seventh, instructions about wearing and cutting new cloth. According to Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, peace be upon him, a person while putting on a new dress should recite the following prayer. O Allah, make this cloth to be the cause of peace, piety, and reward. O Allah, as long as I go on wearing this dress, let me be able to carry out thy worship in its entirety, and let me be able to be obedient to thy bidding and thankful to thy blessings. All praise is for Allah, who has given me such a garment that covers me up and is a source of respect and decency among people. According to a tradition coming down from Imam Ali, peace be upon him, the Holy Prophet had given the following prayer to Imam Ali that he may recite while putting on new clothes. O Allah, make this dress such a source of blessing that whatever I may try after putting it on should be for gaining thy goodwill and for populating thy mosque, that is centers of prayers. The Prophet had said that those who recite this prayer will have their sins forgiven. According to another tradition, Imam Ali asked those who are putting on new clothes to recite so. There is no God but one Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger, that they may be protected from all the troubles, and every single thread of such a garment will ensure constant happiness as long as it lasts. 8th. How to put on and take off one's dress. According to Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his pure progeny, man should not keep his body naked at any time, night or day. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, seems to have stated that a naked man is an easy victim to the devil and his temptations, and a man, while sitting among a certain number of people, should lower his thighs. He also asked men to recite Bismillah while taking off the clothes, that the jinn may not wear them as they do during the night when we do not say Bismillah. According to Imam Muhammad Baqir, peace be upon him, Lady Fatima Zahra, peace be upon her, used to have makna so wide that it reached her limbs. All women should be likewise. According to Imam Ja'far Sadiq, peace be upon him, Muslim women should not use transparent veil or clothing. Another tradition states that a person asked Imam Musa Kazim, peace be upon him, if possessing 10 garments was supposed to be a luxury. The Imam replied on the contrary, that the extra dresses will help men to keep tidy, provided those clothes or garments are kept washed and clean away from the dirty places. According to Amirul Mu'mineen Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, wearing of clean clothes keeps sadness away and helps in the prayers being answered. Imam Ja'far Sadiq, peace be upon him, states that a man who patches his garment, stitches his worn out shoes, and carries his own purchase home will be protected from pride. 9th. Socks and shoes. For sandals and shoes, the best color is yellow, and next comes white. According to Imam Ali, peace be upon him, fine shoes keep the body free from germs and diseases. They also help in wudu, that is ablution, and namaz, prayers, as the shoes keep the feet free from dirt. According to Sarraf, when he went before Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, peace be upon him, while having white shoes on, the Imam asked him if it was intentional, and before Sarraf could answer, the Imam said that any person who buys a white shoe will get money from unknown sources before the shoe gets worn out. Sarraf said, hardly had he started wearing them when he got 100 gold coins from a place which he could even not dream of. 10th. How to wear socks, shoes, and sandals. According to a tradition related to Imam Muhammad Baqir, peace be upon him, and Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, peace be upon him, the shoes should be put on the right foot first and then on the left. But while taking them off, the shoe of the left foot should be taken off first. It is also stated that anyone who has a shoe on one foot and none on the other, and walks thus, will be tempted by the devil and will go mad. According to Abdul Rahman ibn Kathir, once while he was walking with Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, Imam's sandals belt broke. Ibn Kathir immediately took out a new belt and started repairing the sandal. All that while the Imam kept his hand on his shoulder and said that if someone helps a mu'min while his sandal is being repaired, God will give him a fast camel on the day of judgment to enter heavens on it. Another tradition from Abdul Rahman ibn Abdullah states that he once went to Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, peace be upon him, accompanied with another man. When they arrived at the Imam's place, he took out his sandals and said that a person should take out his sandals while sitting, that the feet may feel comfortable. It is further stated that the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his pure progeny, prohibited walking with one shoe on, and also to put on shoes while standing or walking. A chapter on salvation, Kitab-e-Nijat, in Makarim al-Akhlaq states that one should put on socks and sandals while sitting and recite the following prayer. I begin in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. O Allah, shower thy grace, send durood on Muhammad and al Muhammad, and keep my feet steady in this world and that to come, and on the day when the best of the people will tumble on the bridge of Sirat. Thou keep both my feet steady, and take them off standing and recite, I begin with the name of Allah. All praise is to God who has blessed with a thing that preserves both my feet from pain. O God, keep both my feet steady on the bridge of Sirat, and let them not go astray from the right path.